Good afternoon, Tony Datino, founder of the USA Memory Championship, doing my live with Tony on Monday, September 22nd. I don't know where the days are going, but they are going, and they're going pretty fast. We're now out of summer. We're into the fall, and I had the opportunity of going over to the Memory Institute this morning, what we do here at the Dr. Phillips YMCA, and it was a packed house today, full capacity, family members there, and people really having a really good time and really loving the caregivers, loving the people that they bring there, and just a great social environment. One of the things that's important is lunch, and they get to lunchtime, and there's some talking about what people eat for lunch, and recognizing that there are choices better for you personally and how they impact your health. And so that's one of the conversations they have as part of the workshop in terms of what are people bringing for their lunches, since there is a half-hour period of time for lunches between the mental exercises and the physical exercise. And here I come home today to the current issue. Let me make sure it's the October issue of the Tufts newsletter for health and nutrition. And there's a special report. So inside here, there's a special report. And in the special report, lo and behold, what do you think they talk about? 10 choices that are better for you to eat and that are also well for the planet. But being selfish about this, it's like, what are the things that are best for you personally to be doing? And so we hear some of these over and over again, and it's a matter of getting people to change their food habits and nutritional habits probably is the toughest thing. I think you're getting more and more people exercising, at least walking, and getting out and being a little bit more active in terms of physical activity. But getting them to change their nutritional habits, that's a tough one. I have found that people, you acquire taste, sugars, sweets, different foods that are your favorites, be it a steak, be it chicken, whatever. And so getting people to change nutritional habits is pretty tough. But here are some tips, though, in the Tufts newsletter that I think are really very, very beneficial. One, obviously, is simple. We've heard more and more about it. Less animal foods, steaks and beef and chickens and pork, and getting into more plants. And you see more and more plant foods available in the supermarkets than we've ever done before. But what I liked about this particular article, it says, well, how does it benefit your health? Consuming a more plant-based diet is associated with a lower risk of high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity, and metabolic syndrome, increasing the risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2. Getting plenty of grains and fruits, vegetables with lower amounts of red meat protects us from diseases that contribute to mortality and shortening our mortality. So I thought it was an excellent article in that it gave you the benefits that it would have if high cholesterol, diabetes are things that you're concerned about, your blood pressure. And so this I thought was really, really good, the article. So there's just one example of why eating plant-based foods are better for you. Plan your meals. Now, this was an interesting one. So planning your meals. So 1/3 of our food is thrown away. I found that really, that's not happening in our household. I'll tell you that much. And God, for what food costs today, throwing anything away is just a poor use of money. But here's how it benefits. If it's hard to make healthy choices if they're not available, and that makes some sense. So grocery shopping and having a regimentation of what you're going to have, and maybe it's a sketch of what are we going to eat for the next 5 days, and we'll leave weekends to make up as we go. But food-related choices and planning those helps you to reduce your waste. So if you get everybody to agree on, here's what we want to make, and this is the day we're going to have it, and laying out some of that plan, at least helps to reduce the waste. And certainly it gives you, during crazy times that we have in terms of food prices, it gives you an opportunity to plan within your budget and having things in your house that you're going to consume and personally benefit the eating habits and also reducing food waste. Here's another one. try to get locally grown food. Now, boy, this was interesting. So locally grown food, and a lot of places now have farmers markets. I know in the neighborhoods that I live here in Central Florida, it'd be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even Sundays, you have farmers markets popping up more and more than ever. But here what was interesting about it, so you get your locally grown food, though even I've noticed some farmers markets are bringing it in from outside and selling it just down the street instead of in a grocery store. But here's what the thing that I hit, and you've heard me talk about this a lot. Anybody out there figure this one out? What else do you get by going to a farmer's market? Social connection and getting out and meeting people and listening to, I know when I go out to a farmer's market, it's not just the market itself and picking up the fresh produce and whatever vegetables and fruits that I'm there for. I love the social interaction, and in the one that I go to, it has music. So there's somebody playing different music every week, and people walking about. You see lots of folks walking their dogs. So the social interaction you get, and then if you're going to some of the same vendors, the connection you're making and getting away from, I'm going to see this person. So I get like plant-based cookies that I get, and I chat with the gentleman there if he's not busy, and how's his wife doing, and the cookies, and what their business has been doing, and I get to talk more about the business he's got and how they've started this and where it's going. And so in a farmer's market, you get not just the locally grown foods and things, but you also get the social interaction and the connection. And just sometimes I sit on a bench and just watch people, and I do what we call people watching. And so that's clearly a benefit. Another one that I found interesting, one was walking and biking. We've talked about exercise numerous times on my Live with Tony's, but cutting back on cheese, and this is a tough one, because I do eat cheese, and my other half eats lots of cheese, and what you got to be careful of with cheese, right? It's a contributor of calcium, which we need, but a lot of cheeses have extra fats, and it happens to be saturated fats, which are not the best fats for us, and also have a lot of sodium, which we are very, very careful about. How much sodium are we putting in? And I've never stopped to look at a cheese label for sodium, and I guess that's how the manufacturers preserve it for a while. So now I got to go back and look at sodium. And so what do? Replace it with unsaturated fats. And so, well, what are some of those suggestions? I thought this article at Tufts was excellent. So how about some hummus? And maybe you put it on a whole wheat flour cracker. What about nachos, but putting on black beans with salsa and some guacamole? Maybe a little bit of cheese. And so that's a great one for me. Again, putting some guacamole on it with black beans and salsa is a much better choice than just throwing on a whole bunch of cheese and sour cream. And so great difference of impacting plant-based foods with saturated fats, which we all know is not good for our cardio. And then, what can you do to help with the environment? So what are some things that you can do to work out your community and getting out with a community program of some sort where you're helping clean up, you're helping promote some venue, and I see more and more of these community groups where you've got the Chamber of Commerce, and maybe it's the Elks Club, or maybe you've got the art is there, doctors' offices are there, local real estate brokers are there. It's a diversity of people, again, learning out what the services are that you have in your community. So it's another byproduct and benefit. And so I really appreciated this current issue. It's the October issue of the newsletter from Tufts EDU, and I thought they did a superb job. So commend the Tufts Education for the October issue of their newsletter. And off we go. It's Monday afternoon. I think I'm going to go over to Typhoon Lagoon today, do a little bit of swimming in the lazy river.